Ready?
As we take our first breath of 2020, hot off the heels of what was almost certainly an incredibly busy season, I wanted to talk about what I think is often misunderstood topic when it comes to what we do every day: creativity and inspiration. If I had to take a guess, you're probably feeling a little low on both of them. There's nothing that stops the creative juices from flowing quite like a long and stressful season. It is okay to feel uninspired and tired, but you don't need to stay that way. Today, we're going to talk about what exactly are creativity and inspiration and how we can get those mental muscles pumping again. Welcome to Blackbar. Hi, I'm Caleb, and today we're going to try to identify and quantify and reproduce creativity in yourself and your department reliably. We have all spent time blankly staring at an empty canvas, whether that be a Photoshop document or a notebook or even an SD card. Inspiration feels far off, if not entirely non-existent. But the clock keeps ticking away, reminding us of the work that's not getting done. If only there was a way to release a burst of creativity when we need it, not just when it feels natural. I've got good news and I've got bad news. The good news is that it is possible to stimulate creativity on demand. The bad news is that what works for me might not work for you. But I hope to help you find your own secret personal formula for inspiration. First, I think it's important that we understand what creativity looks like. Try to think of the most creative person that you know. What are the things that they've created? How do they spend their free time? What have they accomplished? Within a certain range, I imagine we all thought of the same kind of person. Someone who is particularly skilled in an artistic medium. They're likely a consistent stream of original ideas and work. I'd venture to guess they're probably a little eccentric. They don't quite seem to fit into the mold that society has placed around them. The people we're imagining here are almost certainly creative people, but the qualities we've described aren't what make them creative. Those qualities are the product of creativity, not the cause of it. When I try to think of the stereotypical avatar of creativity, I imagine a sculptor standing in front of a massive block of marble. He's locked himself in his study to shut out the world as he paces around the stone for hours or weeks, trying to decipher what lies beneath the surface. What does the stone long to be? What is its true form? What is this new thing? Suddenly, a burst of originality strikes him and he lunges at the marble, looking to free his newest masterpiece from the stone prison that's before him. In my experience as a professional creative, that's not really how these things work. Locking yourself in a room to stare at a blank canvas and hoping that original idea smacks you upside the head is really just wishful thinking. Are you ready for my controversial statement of the day? Pure originality is a myth. There is no such thing as a brand new thought that is devoid of inspiration. We, as humans, are literally incapable of it. If you don't believe me, I have a little test for you to try. I want you to close your eyes, really, close your eyes, and think of an animal. Not just any animal, but a brand new one. The only rule is that you cannot make a new animal from pieces of existing ones. No half lizards, half birds, no claws of a leopard with the gills of a shark. A completely original, brand new animal. I'll give you some time to think.
Wait, Caleb, we don't have the rights to that.
Nothing? I didn't think so. Don't feel bad, that's simply not how we're built. Since the dawn of humanity, we've been building on the discoveries, ideas, and thoughts of those who have come before us, just like they did, and the people who came before them did. So what does this mean for us? How does this help us be more creative? Well, practically speaking, it's going to save you a ton of time. If you ever find yourself stuck in that writer's block mindset, staring into an empty canvas looking for a breakthrough, it's time to get up and get out and start searching for inspiration. The goal of a perfect original idea is psychologically unobtainable. Those artists that we thought of earlier pulled inspiration from somewhere. If they're good at what they do, they probably manage to hide their inspiration pretty well. That's what makes them appear original. Creatives love the idea of people thinking that they're creative. We're usually happy to take the credit for an idea, but very hesitant to explain the source of inspiration. In my opinion, this phenomenon has led to an imaginary divide between people who believe themselves to be uncreative and people who have secretly learned how how to steal ideas and get away with it. I don't mean that in a bad way, that's just how it works. You don't borrow inspiration, you take it. You take ideas from one place and you mash them together with ideas from another, creating a new combination of thought. That's the real, actually achievable goal of creativity. You may not be capable of real, actually original thought, but there's not a single person alive who has the same exact cocktail of experiences and inspiration and emotions that you have. That combination is original, and it's what makes you unique. There are expressions of creativity that only you are capable of making. There are things that I can make that nobody else can. That exclusivity weighs heavy on me, as it should you. Do not rob the world of the messages that only you can preach, the photos that only you can take, and the stories that only you can tell. All right, I'm sorry. I get preachy when I think about this stuff. We'll get back on track. So, inspiration is out there. It is ripe and ready for the picking. But where is it and how do I find it? I wish I had an easy answer for you. The fact of the matter is that where I find inspiration and why I find inspiration and how I find inspiration will not be the same for you. That's what makes this topic so challenging and incredibly exciting. In preparation for this episode, I went around and asked a ton of my creative friends what their inspiration process looks like. Interestingly enough, I found a bit of a pattern. Though there's certainly a bit of a spectrum, I've discovered that you can roughly divide people into two groups, those who look forward and those who look backwards. Let me explain. I personally, along with most people, am in the first category. When I'm seeking inspiration, my first instinct is to begin soaking up as much creative work as I can. I will listen to music and scroll through Pinterest and Behance and Dribbble. I will watch YouTube videos and read books and walk through the mall, anything. I almost feel like a bloodhound who's trying to sniff out new inspiration from the world around me. I am looking forward to new inspiration. I'm trying to find something that I haven't seen before. My mom, also a creative person, is in the second category. When she's looking for inspiration, she goes off by herself. Often she seeks the solitude of nature. She brings a journal with her and begins to meditate on her experiences and emotions. She internalizes her thoughts and writes them down. She reads through her journals to see where she's come. When she's looking for inspiration, she's looking backwards at her thoughts, trying to view them from a new, different perspective. Neither technique is superior to the other. They certainly have their strengths and weaknesses, but what's important is that you understand how you process inspiration. Forward-looking creatives have the luxury of being able to feed off of the inspiration of the world around them. The breadth of the possible sources of creativity are nearly endless. However, backwards-looking creatives are often able to draw more depth from specific subjects and stories. They might not have as varied of inspiration, but their specialization in a few topics can lead to truly insightful moments. I would argue that the best model is a mix of the two. One will almost certainly feel more natural than the other, but put in time to develop both and you will widen, literally double, your potential sphere of inspiration. I believe that a healthy mix of the two should be your ultimate goal as a creative, to mix the breadth of the world around you with the depths of your inner monologue. We could probably talk all day about ways to practice either method, but I'll focus on one tip each for both looking forwards and backwards. My fellow forward lookers, be careful. The world around you is a nearly endless spring of inspiration, but you need to be aware of the fact that you share this world with your audience. If you draw inspiration from the same pool that you're pouring into, you'll look like a hack, not a creative. If you need to create a new logo for your church and you're looking at the logo of the church down the street for inspiration, you're gonna look like a ripoff. If you're writing worship music and all you're listening to is Bethel, you're going to sound like a worse version of Bethel. Remember, the key to appearing original is hiding your inspiration. You cannot do that if you're metaphorically ripping ideas out of the hands of the people sitting next to you. The world is huge. Go explore. Find stuff no one has seen before. Mash that stuff together with other stuff that no one has seen before. Add some weird stuff to the wholly unique cocktail that is your life experience. The church down the street doesn't have that. Bethel doesn't have that. At the risk of sounding cliche, be yourself, because everyone else is taken. For the backward lookers, I have great news. Time travel is a real thing and you can do it. In fact, the only things you need can be purchased at your local general store for about $5. The only caveat is that you can only go back as far as the first time you purchased them, so it's time to hurry up and go get them. In order to time travel, you will need a pen and a notebook. You cannot accurately look backwards without understanding how you thought and felt when the past was the present. I personally hate journaling. It does not come natural to me, but I mourn the loss of the hundreds of ideas that have come and gone, lost to the winds of my incredibly faulty memory. The forward lookers have more to look at, but you have something deeper to look at. Keep every thought captive in the spine of your notebook and guard it with your life. I could honestly talk about this stuff all day. If you're ever stuck in that worn out writer's block mentality, look for inspiration in the ways that only you can. Make stuff that's unique, make stuff that's powerful, and make stuff that brings glory to the one who made you. Please send this video to anyone that you think could benefit from it, and I hope to see you next time. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you would like to dive in more to what we talked about today, please check out the Blackbar podcast. It's posted the same time as the video every week, and we go more in depth into the topics we discuss in these videos. In addition, check out our Discord. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we will see you in the next video.